right here.
When you're recording voices and stuff, and you get a scene where the character, you hear their thoughts, how do you record that effect? Do you have a tuning, do you change the voice or...
Sorry, I couldn't hear that.
When the character falls?
Well, when the character's talking, and then you get the sequence where you can hear their thoughts, what do you use like special equipment to get the effect? What do you do that?
It's a combination of the two. You're going to change your delivery a little bit, because you're not speaking out loud. You're kind of thinking mentally, so you're going to kind of bring your voice back in. And then the friendly engineers in the back room will tweak it. And we'll take out some of the buttons and take out some of the frequencies, so it's going to be all filtered. Maybe they have a little echo like you have in this giant room. So it's a combination of performance and then technical delivery, programming, post-production.
What he said.
If you can hear my, this doesn't work. I've tried, it doesn't work.
Anybody else?
So, Mike, I think I and a lot of people were quite disappointed that Disney didn't have you in Wreck-It Ralph. So,
And I.
yeah. So apparently a sequel has been planned. If they approached you, would you definitely do a sequel with Eggman's voice?
The question in general of if someone approaches you to do something, would you do it? Is, for me, a silly question. I love working. Pretty much if it's a legitimate aim gig that's not like just pure, unadulterated pornography, violence, hatred, I will pretty much do that because I love working. So yes, if they ask me, I would be delighted to do it, especially since I've been associated with the character for 10 years next month. Thank you very much. Have they? No. And again, it's worth noting, I didn't know much about the production of Wreck-It Ralph. I was not involved in Wreck-It Ralph. But what I did find out from Roger Craig Smith's posting on Facebook, they called him very close to the production date of the film. So, very close to its release date, they finally got around to, I guess, hiring the incidental people. So, maybe a month or two before it's out, someone will call. But right now, thanks for asking, I agree.
When you get shown a character that you're being asked to do a voice for, and it's a completely new character, what sort of process do you go through to come up with a voice for that?
What I do when I'm looking for a character that they always give you a character description. Okay, and in that character description, it's going to tell you the age of that character. It's going to tell you the character traits, who he is, what his interests are, what his battles are, what his life story is, so to speak. Sometimes you get a lot more information. Sometimes you get very little. One of the things that I do when I try to approach it is before I try to invent a voice or anything, is just what that character's attitude is. Really, that's my biggest thing. Is I really try to find out what the character wants, why he's saying what he's saying, and what his attitude is, his age, things like that, and then I just kind of go into it.
I rely very much on the director or the casting director that's there. Presumably they have some idea of what they want. They may not know exactly what they want. Usually they'll go in and they'll say, well, we've heard a lot of things, we're not really sure what we want. For example, Meet the Ultimate Muscle was a memorable casting. They said, here's this little guy. In Japanese, they didn't mention that. Sometimes when you're other stuff, depending on somebody, they'll play the original voice and say, something similar to this original voice. Or for kids, never. As though there was no original soundtrack. So the original Meat, as I learned later from Google, was a little high. They didn't tell me that, and I wasn't going to do that anyway. They said, no, we don't have maybe a truck driver. Hey, I sound like a truck driver. I'll do this for you. It worked out. They liked it. It's great. But very often the director will have ideas. We bounce back and forth. Try this. Now try this. Something very specific. It's like a little more gravel, a little more high pitch, something like that. And then there's at least one place where I work for coffee money, literally. The reason people work there is leave for the check. Not a very large check.
Yeah.
Leave the check and take a price Starbucks to buy coffee. That particular studio, yeah, nothing. He was just cranking stuff out. So you're playing this guy and go. Great, that was good. Next. Come back in a couple of weeks. You're doing the same guy again. And you have a vocal reference? I don't remember what I did. No, go. If you ever watch Stars Kids, I don't even know if they have it running today. You don't really know what it's for. There's a show called Ruby and the Astronauts, originally a Brazilian or Italian show. The character that I voiced has absolutely no vocal consistency from week to week. And he didn't care! Nor do I. I have nothing. Anybody doesn't care about the television product? Neither do I.
Next question. Right here.
Have there been any voice actors or directors you've really enjoyed working with?
Yeah, absolutely.
We may have one
You know what? Honestly, here's the thing, and I think I had mentioned this before, is you really can't be a jerk and work in this industry because it's way too competitive. Really competitive. So when you are working, it's a delight. It's just a treat. You know, if you're working with directors, like I love working with Liam O'Brien, Mary Elizabeth McGlynn, she's fantastic. Tony Holland, working with all these folks. They're just lovely people to work with. I enjoy working with them. And getting to do the work for me is just a blast. It's a kick in the pants. Yeah, it's all good. There's just a few that I mentioned, but there's so many more.
I would agree. Just the fact that I'm working and being paid to make funny voices is awesome. So everyone's a great director if they're giving you money. But the guy that was mentioned earlier, for example, is possibly the worst director that I've worked with. I named his name, it's not worth it. He will be very abusive to his talent in the booth. And he will, sometimes. I have had, here's a side note, I work with a voiceover coach, and he keeps in touch with all of his clients. And I had recommended this guy as someone who will hire pretty much anyone and will pay you when you leave. And if you want to get your first job, he would probably give it to you. But you have to be prepared to be, if not, he won't physically abuse you, but he will verbally and emotionally abuse you if you're not doing what he wants you to do. So I always caution people, when you work with this guy, he's not like any director you will ever work with ever again, but it's an interesting experience in working with a bad director. So I recommended him, and I'm going to guess it was a woman, I'm not sure, but just from the nature of the complaint that she sent back to the local coach that I worked with, who recommended her as well, said, "Oh, the worst experience of my life, he was abusive, and he backed out you and your training, your coaching company, I don't know, I'll never work with him again." The coach got back to me and said, "What's this guy's deal?" I told you, if you were listening, he's not really a people person. He's a crank product out person, and he does. So, not only did he saying that this woman was not acting the way he wanted her to, but she said, "Have you ever been trained?" And he said, "Well, I was trained in this studio." What a horrible training he gave you. And then, of course, Mr. Coach guy was all upset that this guy was bad-mouthing his company. He sent out an email to all his clients, bad-mouthing this guy. He got into a whole big legal fight. Fantastic. That wasn't your question. Your question was paper direction, not him. The New York directors that I worked with, Eric Stewart and 4 Kids, awesome guy, not only an awesome actor, and Ultimate Muscle that I worked with, but an excellent director. Had fun in the booth, was very conscious of the time we had together. We didn't talk too much, but we'll happily joke around if time was permitted. Michael Center Nicholas at NYU Post gave me one of my first big gigs, and he's doing LA stuff now, so David, you know, he's excellent. Getting a pleasure to be directed by him. We had one show that we did, Jungle Emperor Leo. If you've ever seen it, it's awesome. If you've not seen it, go rent it. The original inspiration for Kimber the White Lion, and by association with what they rip off the Lion King from. I love Disney.